Hello, hello. We are getting started. Hi, everybody. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. We are live in all of the places. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. It's Thursday, and I'm coming in with another Billable Hour Burnout episode. So, hi, how's everybody doing? How's your week going? It's a good week, so I'm really happy to be here. All right. We are locked and loaded, everybody. Let's do this. Today is all about what I'm calling the yes dilemma, how to say no more with less guilt. Now, some of you have seen that I'm actually doing a panel tomorrow on this topic, but I wanted to take today to really talk about the topic before the topic, really talking about no and how we might be able to say no a little bit more, but it's going to be different than tomorrow's panel. So if you're joining me live, you are still all good. All right, so let's jump in. If you're new to this, if you need some helpful tactical advice that actually gives your career the zest that you wanted without all the stress and overwhelm, you're in the right place. If you want to finally enjoy the life that you spent decades building, you are in the right place. Now, today, if you're here, it means you're ready to experience more balance, more ease, more confidence, and you're ready to make it happen without having to quit your job or burn down your life. My name is Lauren Baptiste, former Big Four auditor, corporate dropout, and now life coach, helping the hardest working women have it all without the stress. Now, on the show, I'm sharing simple, tactical advice and mindset strategies so that you can thrive as the modern accountant, consultant, or attorney. Ready? Let's do this. Episode 5. First, has anyone, if you're in the area, the sun is shining, it is 66 degrees, and it is incredible outside. So I am making sure to get out today. I've been getting out a little bit this week. It's been a busy week for me. I have a lot coming up. Like I mentioned, I have a panel tomorrow. I have a photo shoot this weekend, doing some family stuff on the weekend. So just a busy week, but a wonderful week. I've also been thinking a lot of the things that I've been doing. So there's always like the stuff we're doing in our in our lives that fill our time. But what I like to also share and reflect on and be transparent with you is the work that I'm doing, the inner work. So I've been personally doing a lot of development and self-coaching on my self-concept, who I am, the impact I'm making on my clients, on the profession, on my community. And it's been just such a beautiful up-leveling. It doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows, I'll tell you that and be really honest. But I'm starting to feel the ripple effect of this incredible work, this such needed work. And this is why I'm coming up here every week because I love it. I love the impact I'm making. I love the mission that I'm doing. And I want to make sure everyone has the tools that they need to thrive because there's so much out there now that nobody needs to burn out. When I burnt out 11 years ago, there were not all the tools and resources. And that's why I've changed my career to make sure that you have everything you need. Even if you're like, I'm an accountant, that doesn't apply to me, or I'm an attorney, those hours, I can't just scale back, right? If you're a consultant, you're on an endless job, I get it. And that's why I'm catering this content specifically to you. You may have seen I posted this week about this topic on flaking out. So I personally am still learning that idea of the yes dilemma, this dilemma of always saying yes and not saying no. I will say I've made a ton of progress since I've started this work, but we still make mistakes. We're still learning. And so I talk about the situation where I flaked on a friend, and it was really deciding last minute that I wanted to focus on quality exchanges. And if I just tried to fit it in, I knew that it wouldn't be a quality exchange. So I decided to say no in that instance. And I have full belief that it's going to make it better when we hang out next time and that I'm fully present when we do connect next. But that being said, this yes dilemma, I hear it all the time, specifically in the professional women community, how hard it is to say no. We have to start somewhere. So today I'm going to teach you some tactics and tips. So let's dive in. Now I'm going to start, well, I love starting with a client success story, and I'm actually going to make sure I go through this because this one applies to our topic. This comes from Ashley, who's based in California, vice president. And she said, working with me, she goes, I feel more confident and excited about each day instead of waiting around for the weekend. After working with Lauren for a few months, I feel like a huge weight has been lifted. The mental block that once had me feeling stuck has dissolved, and I have more mental space and motivation to set and work towards my life goals. So love it. So thank you, Ashley. I want to start here because when we start to lean into our boundaries, we can allow the Monday to Friday to feel as spacious, as fun, as luxurious as the weekend. Now, hear me out. In order to do that, we may need to experience some challenging feelings and emotions to get us there. So I saw this quote from Adam Grant, who I love. If you don't follow him on all the things, you should, because he's fabulous. But he put up a quote the other day, which said, it's time to stop dumping thankless tasks on women. Women get asked more than men to serve on committees, plan events, and take notes. They are more likely to get penalized if they say no and taken for granted if they say yes. Sound familiar? Work should be divided equitably by role, not gender. Love this. And when I talked about International Women's Day last week, it's men like this that support the balance, the true balance of women in the profession. So love this. I want to highlight, right? Women get more likely to get penalized if they say no, taken for granted when they say yes. Feels like a lose-lose, but it doesn't have to be. But the reason I share this is because it's so real. I was talking about this with a client this morning. She's a partner at a law firm with over 25 years of professional experience, who is recognized as the doer and the team player at her firm, which is great until you're stuck as the doer and the team player at your firm. If you're always the partner that's working under maybe the managing partners or the leadership, you're always stuck. And so for us as women, we need to get ourselves out of that shadow and start to pull ourselves up. And it starts with boundaries to get us there. Now, what are boundaries? We talk about boundaries all the time. You may see them, or people, sometimes I see on social media specifically, like boundaries are almost like overly exerted, where it feels like they're too extreme. So I think a lot of us in the industry are like, okay, well, what's the healthy boundary? So let's take a minute and just reflect on boundaries. Boundaries are the space between me and my values and the rest of the world. This energy between us and the other is either protected by a boundary or it's not. So think about the idea of going out in the winter, going outside in the snow. If you're wearing a coat, there's a boundary. It protects you from the outside world. If you're not wearing a boundary, if you're not wearing a coat, then you're not protected. You might get sick. Now we have these boundaries, energetic boundaries, physical boundaries, time boundaries, all of these types of boundaries that help us thrive. So here's what I want you to think about as a boundary. Boundaries aren't for other people. Boundaries are for you. If you need to leave by 5 o'clock to pick up your kids from daycare, that's on you to uphold that boundary and to communicate that boundary, not on others to serve you in that boundary. So that doesn't mean they don't respect the boundary. But what I hear a lot of times is this expectation, like my company should have prevented me from getting burnout, or my company should have made sure when I was working 18-hour days that they escalated, something should change. But that doesn't really happen. Why? Because a lot of us aren't very in tune with what we need personally. So how can we be in tune with what others need? So as the professional leader who's listening to this is your opportunity to check in with yourself and be a better leader as you step into everything else you do. So one thing that I'll share, I can even share it in later, but I do have a freebie for my 3 steps to healthy boundaries. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I want this, or I want this more written, and I don't want to take the notes on this, just send me a DM wherever you're seeing this, and I will send it to you. But what I want to focus on, not necessarily on the boundaries, but a subset of the boundaries, is getting really comfortable with the idea of saying no. No one likes to hear the word no. I think of my niece. I think of kids. No one likes to hear the word no. Even adults, right? We don't like to be rejected. But even more so than being told no is that nobody likes to feel ignored. Nobody likes to feel led on. So learning how to say no is not rude, which many of us may think, right? So I don't like to say no, so I'll kind of beat around the bush, I'll kick the can, I'll put it off, I'll say yes of it. Like I'll do other things that kind of like aren't really of service, but learning how to say no can truly be a superpower. It can free you from guilt, it can free you from energy drain, it can free others of their time and energy. So as we're thinking about like getting comfortable saying no, I wanted to share a few ideas of how you can say no. So let's take a scenario, maybe an upcoming baby shower. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to go. Maybe you're like, you know what? I have to work this weekend. Maybe you actually can't go. That feels easy, right? If you can't go because you have something else going on, that's easy. Most of us are like, oh, yeah, I can't go. I had plans this weekend. Okay, great. But if you don't want to go to this baby shower, let's talk about it because there's a part of you that does not want to go. And then there's a part of you that feels guilty. Oh, I don't know what's happening on Instagram. There's fireworks behind me. But what happens is that you say no, or you say yes, but you feel resentment. So you say no and feel guilty. You say yes and you feel resentment. Or, yeah, something like that. There might be other feelings there, but let's just keep it clean. No and guilty, yes and resentment. What if there was a middle path? What if you can say no in a way that's of service to you and to them? Let's think about the baby shower. For every seat, they pay. So by not RSVPing, there's a cost that they're paying. By RSVPing, yes, but not wanting to be there and just being the like curmudgeon, if that's the right word of the word, right use of the word. But if you're feeling like, oh, like, meh, I don't want to be here, then why be there? So what we want to do is let's go down the route where we're making the decision we're not going to go. We're not going to this baby shower. All right. So what we want to do first is make sure we say the word no. So if someone's like, hey, do you want to come with me to this baby shower this weekend? Now I'm thinking this might be not the best example because it feels like there's an invite and you just say yes or no. Let's roll with it. Okay. So I want you to, when you say no, which is probably really challenging for you because you could go and you're going to say no, you need to actually say the word no. So when somebody's like, hey, I would love for you to be there, make sure you don't say no without saying the word no, right? So how do we say that cleanly? Make sure you say, I cannot go, or no, I'm not going to make it, or no, I can't take on that extra task. So first you have to say the word no. Number two, know why you're saying no. I'm saying no because I've been working back to back for the last few weeks and I just need a down day to rest. Right? That's one way to say it. You can say I'm saying no because I'm choosing X over Y. Just know your no. Know why. Doesn't mean you have to communicate it to be honest. Just know why you're saying no. Really stand firmly in your no. Be clear about it. So we can do this like, oh, I don't think I'm going to make it, but like maybe I'll make it. Have you ever done that? Like you kind of said no, but you've circled back to a yes. So uncomfortable for everybody. Be clear when you say no. I'm not going to make it. I'm so sorry. Like, right. And I'll go to the next steps, which will kind of continue that. You don't even have to apologize, right? Okay, so we're saying the word, I can't make it. No, I'm not going to take on that extra exercise. I'm going to know why I'm saying no. I'm already at capacity with my workload. I'm saying no to that extra thing that you're asking me to put on my plate. I'm being clear about actually saying no. I'm going to say it and I'm going to be clean about it. The fourth thing, when you're about to say no, thank the person for their interest. Remember, in this baby shower scenario, you were invited, maybe out of 50 people, they were like, I want you. Or maybe out of like 200 people, they whittled it down to a small list of 50 and you're on it. So thank the person for giving you the invite. Imagine you were being asked to sit on a panel and you didn't want to do it maybe in this time, but you want to be considered for a future one. Let's not just like burn our bridge. Let's say thank you. Number 5, let's remember that this no is not a forever no. So maybe, for example, if I wasn't able or didn't have capacity or wasn't willing to do the panel this year, I would say, I can't do it this year, but I'd love to be considered for next year, right? No doesn't mean forever. If it's a baby shower, I can't make it, but I would love to do some one-on-one time for the two of us to catch up. And if in person feels like a lot, since maybe that person is pregnant, let's do a virtual coffee, right? It's not forever. It's just not that day, not that moment, not right now. Number 6, you can be assertive and affectionate when you say no. I know assertive no's where people are like, no, 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 or like, absolutely not. Or like, there's very strong no's. But remember, when you give a no, which may feel uncomfortable for you, you can be affectionate, but also be direct, right? We can be assertive, affectionate, direct when we say no to make sure that it comes back to number 3, that it's clear. All right, so let's wrap it up. As I'm thinking of saying no to somebody, it's so uncomfortable, right? There's guilt there. There's like all this like feelings, which is what I'm talking about tomorrow on my panel. But we can learn how to say no more powerfully, and it benefits everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. I just have so much on my plate right now, and I'm going to be really honest, I need that Saturday off. But I would really love for us to catch up one-on-one, maybe a virtual coffee when it feels good for you. I'd love to either we can plan a date for in the future, or for right now, you let me know when it's good for you and we can circle back. I hope you know I still love you. I'm sending you my gift, whatever, right? That's the no for the RSVP for the baby shower. Let's try that with a work scenario, new hat. Thank you so much for thinking of me for this new project. I really appreciate that you guys considered me over a lot of other candidates. I'm going to be really honest, it's not going to work out for me right now because I'm at capacity with my hours. I'm working on 3 other projects, and in order to give quality, I'm not willing to sacrifice on quantity, right? Or I don't want to bring on more quality and sacrifice quantity and sacrifice quality. But please keep me in the loop for the next one. I definitely want to be included. And if you don't want to be included, don't say that. But let's circle back in a couple months when I finish these 3 other projects and see what's available for next, because I'd love to get involved. I'd love to work more with you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? The end. When you say it directly, clearly, and with a little assertiveness, I know for a lot of us that feels like crass or curt or rash. I promise you, even though it feels like that for you, it's likely that middle road where as long as there's affection and directness, it's perfect. Now, this is the work I do with my clients in my coaching program, Freedom. My clients learn how to set, enforce, and maintain win-win boundaries. Right? It's not win-lose boundaries. It's not lose-lose boundaries. It's win-win boundaries. Boundaries that work for me, boundaries that work for my team. So I'm still able to show up as my best professional self or my best me at home. And there's respect on the other side. There's reciprocation on the other side. It's a win-win. The power of getting this right is priceless. And it starts with you saying no. It starts with you maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable. It starts with you maybe probably annoying a couple people because they're used to you being the yes woman. So this is my nugget for today. Let's get comfortable with saying no. So that being said, right, take a moment and let's see what's something in your life that's coming up that's giving you that like meh feeling. That might be the perfect lowest hanging fruit opportunity to say no. All right, I'm going to leave it there. So good. Let's practice it. DM me. I want to know when you say no, how did it go? How did it feel? What did it result in? Again, I know it can be a little tricky. It might ruffle others' feathers, but when you learn how to enforce boundaries, when you learn how to say no, everything changes. So if you liked this, tomorrow, if you're in the New York City metro area, I will be in White Plains, New York at the Women's Westchester Summit. I will be on a panel with 3 other incredible women, and we will be talking about the how to say no but without the guilt. So I'm going to be going deeper into the guilt side because that's definitely somewhere where we need to go deeper. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, drop a comment and let me know what you think. You can come find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you hang. I can't wait to hear how you're enjoying this like podcast episode, whatever thing. I don't know. It's not a real podcast, but it's what I'm calling a podcast. So tell me what's landing. And I love to hear what questions are coming up because this content is for you. What I'm sharing here is for you. And I can't wait to connect with you. So thank you so much for listening. If you want more information about me, Lauren Baptiste, Akaloa Wellness, my company, or my one-on-one coaching program, Freedom, visit akaloawellness.com. That's ACHELOA, wellness spelled out.com. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me while we learn how to say no and embody it and make it feel like a big ol' yes. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.